rally in Richmond, Virginia. Apparently, there were a number of protesters who were not in favor of Trump's immigration policy. But as they were protesting, it turns out that some of Trump's supporters got into a little bit of a physical altercation with them. Take a look.
Wow. This stuff's gonna get ugly, man. Real soon. It's already ugly. First of all, you got people clashing now. These are Trump supporters. I mean, we already had the guys in Boston who beat up a homeless guy, claiming he wasn't an American citizen just because he was Latino.
Yeah.
And he had no power. He was homeless. He had no chance to fight back. So they're like, perfect target, right? Just beat up on someone who can't fight back. And those classic Trump. And they said they did it for Trump. And Trump said, "Oh, my supporters are a little enthusiastic sometimes." And now here he is with more enthusiastic supporters. That should have been more violent because that guy spit in that guy's face right there and then. It is a minor miracle that didn't evolve into violence immediately. I mean, a great percentage of the time that ends in violence. Okay, you don't spit in somebody's face. Look, man, if you spit in a Republican's face, he would probably take out an Uzi and murder half the crowd.
Yep.
Right? But it drives me crazy. They're used to the attitude of like, I get to spit in your face. For hundreds of years, I've been spitting in your face. My candidate is proverbially spitting in your face, right? Watch this guy right there, son of a bitch.
It's so disgusting.
And he's calling you a rapist, a criminal. He's calling you all these things. So I'm going to go into the crowd and I'm going to find one of you. This is not going to end well, man. And he keeps encouraging it and goading them on and doing this stuff. And it's almost always, as always, the right wing who does the violence. And then they'll come on television and they'll cry. They'll say, "Oh, the left wing with their, they encourage people towards violence." No, you guys do. You do it all the time. Right?
You know what Trump reminds me of? Trump reminds me of the trolls online that say the most heinous things under the guise of anonymity, right? Since they're anonymous, they can say whatever they want, regardless of how hateful it is, and they never have to suffer the consequences of it. But once they're asked to reveal their identity, they very rarely do so. Trump is that online troll, but he's proud of his trolling. He's proud of being divisive. He's proud of lacking any type of civility. And people are inspired by that. And you see that in that crowd. You see that with that guy who violently spits in a protester's face. Okay, so there's a relatively small group of people there protesting Trump. 20 people, max. You're going to get all upset over 20 people doing a protest at a Trump rally? Why is it bothering you so much?
It's because they're fascist, and so you can't stand a protest. Look, I get it. I say this all the time. You got to let people talk, right? So if you got a protest that is shouting down the person trying to speak, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, at some point, you've got to conclude the protest and move on, okay? And I get it if at some point cops come in and go, "Hey guys, you had your say, now we got to go forward," right? So I'm not opposed to that. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, the protesters are Democrat or Republican. There has to come a point where it comes to a conclusion so that the speaker can speak. No problem with that, right?
Yeah.
It's another thing when, Trump claims there's 5,000 people, and then of course, no, I'm sorry, there were 5,000
people.
According to reporters, there were 5,000 people. Trump says there were 7,000 people, and that the protesters were only 10. Well, then you should feel even more embarrassed that 7,000 people are bullying 10 protesters, right? And so when you go and start bullying them and doing the things that we see there, to extend your analogy, Trump encourages it, and this is why I didn't do it, right? So I'm like the violence and the physicality is anonymous. You can't assign it to Donald Trump because I didn't do it, right? Now, did I encourage it? Did I egg the trolls on that are getting physical with the other side? You can't pin it on me. I didn't do it myself. And he does it all the time. He did. Remember when they kicked out Jorge Ramos out of the press conference?
Yes.
And we showed on tape. Trump goes like this to the security guards. The security guards go get Jorge Ramos and throw him out, even though he's a journalist. Later, when Trump's asked about it, he said, "I didn't do it. The security guards did it. I didn't tell them to do it."
I mean, and if he's flexing his muscle like that now, imagine if he were president of the United States.
No, it's a scary thought, man. It really is. This is how fascism begins.